Okay, contestants. Here are the rules. Now, let me just point out, by the way, Shannon's the returning champion.
I'm not taking my hand off there.
2 in a row, win?
Yes.
Okay. This is a big deal, Ed. Not to increase it. So here are the rules. You put your hands on the buzzers. I'm going to ask the questions. The first one to buzz in gets to answer. You have to wait till I finish asking the question in order to do that. Each correct answer is worth 1 point. If you get it wrong, you lose a point. It's possible to get to the negative points. Best of 5 wins.
Why are you looking at me?
By the way, let me just say,
it's happened.
thanks to the generosity of the Fox News Channel, for the first time we now have prizes. The winner tonight gets the coveted mouth-breathing mug. Only here on Fox, yes.
Of all your
Right
expressions,
here.
that's my favorite
You like
one.
this one?
People
I'm going to
tweet
fight for it.
That after guests get that face, they've been tucked.
I like it.
Well, you can drink coffee at us. All right, you ready? Question 1. Jurors at a Chicago courthouse yesterday got a big surprise when this person showed up to report for jury duty. Shannon Breen.
Former President Obama.
Former President Barack Obama, ladies and gentlemen, to the tape we go.
How's everybody doing? Nice to see you.
It's not every day the former leader of the free world shows up for jury duty.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for serving on the jury.
Can you imagine?
Cat-like reflexes serve you
she
well.
was good. She's fast.
That was
like a
so
little
fast.
CPR.
That was
Oh my
unbelievable.
gosh, she had to have that one.
And she was right, too. All right, question 2. A complaint from the Pope himself. In St. Peter's Square this week, Pope Francis told churchgoers he wishes they were not attached to what? Ed Henry.
Money.
Money. Seems
Benjamins.
like a good, because it's easier for a camel to get through the eye of a needle, isn't it?
Than a rich man.
Did he say that? Exactly.
Pope Francis took issue with the use of phones during Mass, and he said, in part, it makes me very sad when I celebrate Mass here in the Piazza or the Basilica, and I see so many cell phones held up, not only by the faithful,
I missed
but
it.
also by some priests and even bishops.
Money and cell phones, both evil.
The New Testament does not mention cell phones. But Ed, that was a great guess. Unfortunately, you're now in negative territory.
You got to move quick with Bree, or you're not.
The Shannon juggernaut continues. All right, a chance for redemption. Question 3. President Trump was embroiled in a controversy during his stop in Japan this week. Some called it a fake controversy. He was blasted for dumping a whole box of food into which kind of animal enclosure? Shannon Breen.
A koi pond.
A koi pond,
light is
says
going
Shannon
faster
Breen.
here. What is this?
Not a llama enclosure, a koi pond. To the tape.
Later, Mr. Trump feeding Asian carp in a koi pond, first tossing spoonfuls of fish food before emptying the entire box.
That was the greatest video. He's like, forget it. You're getting everything.
That was so good. Did you know it was a
I
koi
knew the
pond?
answer, but I can't get in here.
It's a cat-like
she's just
reflex. It is.
Hers,
I mean,
she's closer to the siren.
You should see her play blackjack. She can deal a 3-deck
me.
shoe. Oh, yeah,
Dealer's
with her
choice.
eyes closed. All right, question 4. And I know, Ed, you will know this. In an interview with Oprah this morning, what Democratic politician expressed regret he didn't run for president in 2016? Ed Henry.
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden. You're watching Oprah this morning, and you say it's Joe Biden. To the tape.
I have a regret that I
There's a
am
book
not
coming out.
president
So, of course, he's going to.
because I think there's so much opportunity. I think America is so incredibly well positioned.
Joe Biden.
I was confused. I didn't know Oprah was still doing stuff.
Right.
But that was
Well,
on
I
another
didn't
network,
either,
right?
but that's because you're not watching daytime television.
I am.
Ed.
I'm busy.
No, well, he has a book coming out, so I figured he'd be
Makes
flacking that. So it's either him or Donna Brazil.
Does
but I
Ricky
saw
Lake
Donna on
follow that?
Who's the
Lake
daddy?
is right. Maury follows it.
All right, fine.
That's who's the daddy. That's Maury.
You're up on it. All right. It's been a year and a day since the presidential election. Not everyone has come to terms with the man who won. Last night, anti-Trump protesters across the country gathered to lash out at the results in an unusual way. How did they do it? Ed Henry.
Looking in the sky and screaming helplessly.
I don't believe that. That's too crazy, but let's check the tape.
The president's critics marked the election night anniversary by screaming at the sky in frustration.
Frustration.
They can be very cathartic. cathartic.
I have to give an
right?
assist. I think Greg Gutfeld did like a one more thing on that with the unicorn mug, and he said,
Screaming at the
"How ridiculous."
sky.
I have trouble believing that's real, but you were on the news, Ed. You were watching Oprah.
paying attention.
And the
Barely
primal
surviving,
scream.
though.
Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. Our returning champion leaves
One more
once
question.
again the champion. No, the score is 2-1. Shannon Bream, Dad Henry. And Shannon, I want to congratulate you as
So
the very first
excited.
winner of the mouth-breathing mug.
It is my honor.
Thank you.
And I will drink many beverages out of it. Thank you. Are you trying to get my mug?
Thank you.
Great to see you both. That's it for this week's final exam. Pay attention to the news over the course of the week, and you can play along. Next edition, Thursday night next week. See you then. Quite a bit of political drama down in Alabama tonight. A Washington Post report published today claims that Republican candidate Judge Roy Moore, who's running for Senate to replace Jeff Sessions, repeatedly tried to initiate relationships with teenagers several decades ago. Most notably, the report claims that as a 32-year-old back from Vietnam, Moore kissed and fondled a 14-year-old girl at his home. More than a dozen Republican senators back in Washington have said that Moore must immediately step aside if those allegations prove true. Moore says they are not true, and he is sticking by that pretty emphatically. Moore's showdown with Democrat Doug Jones is scheduled for December 12th. Alabama officials say it's too late to remove his name from the ballot should he step aside. We're going to continue to follow this story, of course, as it develops. And before we go tonight, we're in the middle of investigating brand new video that we've obtained exclusively from the night of the Las Vegas massacre more than a month ago at Mandalay Bay. It gives a totally new perspective. We think it's really interesting. We're going to bring it to you tomorrow night. A lot of questions still there. That's about it for us tonight. Tune in every evening at 8 to the show that is the sworn enemy of lying, pomposity, smugness, and groupthink. DVR it if you understand how those work. I don't. Good night from Washington. Sean Hannity up next from New York City. Hey, Sean.